Hello and welcome to episode 18 of the Clash of the Reds podcast. No, I'm not Daniel with extra weight. It's actually Dog. I'm going to be hosting tonight at this jolly old time of 11:07 in the evening. Now, we've had quite an eventful week, a few sackings, some dire draws, and just standard Premier League business. And to discuss that are going to be four men who are probably going for a midlife crisis because they're here online at 11 o'clock at night discussing these results. But yeah, what I'm going to do is we're going to discuss a few things. But before we do that, I'm going to introduce you to our very esteemed panel. Daniel, our resident gooner, a man who glazes Mikel Arteta so much that Krispy Kreme are offering him a job in the factory. How are you doing, sir?
I'm good, bro. Despite the drab draw on Thursday, we're still 6 points clear. Beating Portsmouth yesterday in the FA Cup was a nice palate cleanser, so to speak, from the nerves of the Premier League. But yeah, happy to discuss it with you boys tonight.
Lovely stuff. And with our one delusional Arsenal fan, we have to have our two annoying Liverpool fans. I guess we'll start off with the gentleman on my top left. I'm not sure how he's structured in the YouTube channel. No, he's not a James Corden impersonator. It's Zahid. Hello, Zahid.
Hello, Ozzy. Yeah, no, I'm doing well actually. I mean, we stopped Arsenal from scoring. I mean, there's so many good things to talk about today about Arsenal. Like it's gonna be a great pod. But also we came off with a win against Barnsley, which is nice. I mean, we've had too many draws recently, so it's nice to get a win, even if it's against lower league opposition. Get some momentum, get some players that also needed.
Let's not forget your 0-0 victory against Arsenal, bro. Like,
we could talk all about that. We could talk all about that. Don't worry, we'll get into it.
And last but not least, we have a man who's put the word brain into the phrase, "Can I use steroids in my brain?" It's Tamim. Hello, Tamim.
Hello, Dog. All good?
All good. You talk to me.
Good.
How's your week been?
Good. I'm all right. You know, good week overall with everything. And on the football side, yeah, getting a point against Arsenal, not bad at all. So I'm happy with that. And through to the next round in the FA Cup. So not bad at all. Not bad.
Brilliant. Right. Now, for those of you who are watching, please make sure you smash that like and subscribe button. We do like to host these episodes every week, and your contributions are always greatly appreciated. If you have a comment or a question, drop it in the chat. If you want to mock one of us, drop it in the chat. If you have any Rishta marriage proposals for me, definitely drop that in the chat. But I think what we will do is get started with the main course. We'll skip the starters and appetizers. We'll go straight to that wonderfully eventful game between Liverpool and Arsenal, which ended in a 0-0 draw. I'm not sure how else to say this, but I've seen discos and care homes be more entertaining than that match, aside from that physical assault from Martinelli towards the end. I think I'm going to hand it over straight to our resident gooner, Danyal. Talk to me, Goose. How do you find, or how are you feeling after that 0-0 draw? Nervous, cautious, still excited?
I think it just keeps things how they were, really. Like, if we think about how the week started, Arsenal were 2 points clear of City to end that week, end that kind of round of fixtures, with being 6 points clear. Yeah, kind of have to look at it as a whole. Like, it's a good set of results. Arsenal bounced well from the Aston Villa match that they lost in December, on a 7-win streak, and then following up with that draw against, as I had put down, the reigning champions. It's not a bad set of results, to be fair. In my opinion, there was a lot of expectation on Arsenal to win that match, and you guys would remember I was very kind of cautious that this was going to be a very tight occasion last week, and so it proved to be. And I think, not to go kind of AFTV on you all, but it was very much torturous weather conditions. Pouring down with rain. It was horrible to get to, let alone kind of being there in the ground. And that did impact kind of how the ball was moving on the pitch. What I did find was quite interesting was in that first half, Timber and Saka were combining really, really well, combining really, really nicely, getting in behind quite often. but they just lacked that final ball in, that final cross in that could get us that chance to potentially get a goal in that first half, particularly when we were on top. I do think Trossard got booked very, very early on in the first half by Anthony Taylor. And that impacted him a little bit in terms of like what he could do going backwards. And I think maybe he was very cautious in terms of not committing himself too forward, just in case he got caught out on the counter attack. I did think that yellow was quite soft because it's not like he completely stopped the counter. It was quite far deep into the half, and yeah, it seemed to impact his game. And ultimately, our left-hand side really. And in the second half, it was all kind of Liverpool. Arsenal didn't really generate too much. Can see Tamim's little capture and haram ball by you lot as well. But yeah, like ultimately, Arsenal restricted Liverpool to not having a single shot on goal for 600 matches. Which
do you want an award for that as well?
No, but you know, you can have your part. You can have your part, Zahid. But anyway, but yeah, it really wasn't good enough after sort of the 65th, 70th minute. Arsenal should have generated more. I do think Hincapié coming off destabilised us. Miles Lewis-Skelly coming on, who's not in the best patch of form at this moment in time, kind of allowed Frimpong to kind of get in a number of times. So there was an out ball for Liverpool, I think, which definitely helped them. And yeah, right at the end of the game, Noni Madueke putting a ball in, and Gabriel Magalhaes getting a header, but Gabriel Jesus wanting to kind of take the glory away and jumped into the back of Big Gabby. And yeah, turned into a 0-0 victory for Liverpool. Liverpool fans were cheering and reminiscing. Yeah, you know, it was Arsenal who was feeling frustrated. And, you know, if you ask this to us in August, you know, what do we take being 6 points clear? Liverpool being 14 points away from Arsenal in January, absolutely, but would absolutely beat your hands off of that. So, yeah, I'll hand it over to Liverpool boys, and I'll let them have their piece. But yeah,
keep it halal, Zahid.
It's all right. I'll let Tamim go first.
Yeah, I mean, my take from the game is a decent point for us. You know, I was just happy not to lose based on how this season has been going. You guys been top of the league, so and of course coming to your ground, taking a draw is a decent result. I thought it was a fairly fair result. You know, it was pretty boring, as a few have said. Not many chances for either teams, to be honest with you. First half, you guys did dominate. Second half, we dominated. I was, you know, you're saying, you know, we're cheering for the draw, but to be honest with you, I was pretty frustrated by the 80th minute, more because of Slot not doing anything to try and, you know, I think you guys were there for the taking a little bit. I'm not saying you guys are terrible, but yeah, again, I think in the midfield, we got it pretty tight. We had Wirtz playing the false nine, so that having that extra man, you know, trying to control the ball did work out. And we dominated the ball. I thought we could have generated more chances if maybe Slot had decided to put Rio on or Chiesa on. I was hoping for one of those to come on at the very least to try and get that, you know, get chances going. Because, you know, we were getting in and around the box, and Frimpong had some very good moments where, you know, he beat Miles Lewis-Skelly and the final ball was lacking and we didn't have a proper number 9, you know, playing, which also probably contributes to why we didn't really have a shot on target. But we had 8 shots, just none of them went on target. So I think that stat makes it look much worse than it is. But we did have 8 shots, whether they went on target or not. Bradley's one hit the crossbar. That doesn't count as a shot on target, but that's a decent chance right there. So I think if we had you know, again, if Slot maybe had a bit more of, oh, let's just go for it. We're playing pretty well. Let's just put another attacker on. You know, maybe there'd be a different outcome. So yeah, while I'm happy with the draw, I'm still a bit frustrated because I feel the game could have gone our way if maybe, you know, if the right changes were made. So, but yeah, no, draw was a fair result. I think, it was a pretty drab draw, and it doesn't really change much, for the title race. I don't think it changes too much. And us going for top 4, I don't think it changes much either. So that's my take on it all.
Over to you, Zahid.
I think I'd echo what Tamim said mostly. I don't think Liverpool fans celebrated almost as if we'd like a draw against Arsenal. I mean, in times gone by, when we have been the dominant team in the league, we have absolutely pasted Arsenal. Like, we've beaten you 4-1, 5-1. We've beaten you by a big score in the past. So we expected that to be the case as well come Thursday evening. We were expecting to lose, and we were expecting to lose big. Also because of the fact that we didn't have a recognised striker. Now, going into the game, I think Szoboszlai put it so well, is that, like, you have
I think
to
that helped you, by the way. That helped you. That helped you.
I disagree.
Have
I
a
disagree.
good game plan. But
I think Slot has recently been. I mean, his aim has been to not concede early, so he's always aimed to compact the first half and stay defensively sound. And I think that's what we basically tried to do in the first half. If we had more of an outball, our outball was Frimpong, and he played well. He just didn't have the final finish. Didn't look up and pass the ball in the right place. He actually played really well. If he had someone like an Ekitike there in front of him in the box, poaching for a goal, if we had that outball to Ekitike, I think we could have won that game. Yes, we were defensively sound, but we were also dangerous at the same time. I mean, it was a mistake from Gabriel passing back to Raya, which gave us the opportunity. But if it was anyone, Saliba. If it was anyone else other than Bradley, like a player playing up front, we could have potentially scored that goal. But that was the closest chance of the first half.
The fact you started with 2 right backs on the pitch, and you had essentially Wirtz coming into the middle of the pitch, made the pitch really, really narrow. So I think I honestly believe if you had a Ekitike on the pitch, or even an Isak on the pitch, it would have opened the game up, and it would have made Arsenal's life a lot more easier in terms of playing into that space. That's why I do think we would have beaten you if Ekitike or a recognised striker was on the pitch. But you had 2 right backs on the pitch instead, so it kind of shows you the mindset that Slot wanted to go with. Like, but
Frimpong was playing right wing. He wasn't playing right back.
And he's played right wing for a few games now as well.
Yeah, so I completely negate what you just said. But anyway,
he's still right back regardless.
Yeah, but that doesn't matter. You
Not
can
for
play.
us at the moment. Not for
You
us.
play Norgard as a centre back, but he's a centre mid. That doesn't make him a centre back. Like, what are you talking about? Anyway, so other than that,
so you just backed up my point then, right?
no, you play a player where he's playing on the pitch. It doesn't matter what his position is. He's playing where he's playing.
He's a 6.
Yeah, but he's not a centre back either. But you play him as a centre back.
And Frimpong has been right wing for us.
Frimpong played as
a right wing for us
when he played at Leverkusen.
Games.
He's played right winger for us as well.
He's
played in Salah's position.
It's not like
let's
put 2 right backs on.
Well,
yeah, so what does that even mean? We played with 2 right backs. That's nonsense. We always set up defensively in the first half to try and avoid conceding, because earlier in the season we have conceded goals early. So to avoid that, we try and stay defensive in the first half and then come out in the second half. And you can see that from the stats and the momentum in the second half, that we had more of the momentum in the second half. I think what Tamim was saying about Slot not making any substitutions other than the injury to Bradley, which we will get to, kind of shows on one hand that Slot has his starting lineup that he's confident in, that he's happy with, but it also shows that maybe he's not so confident in the players that we have on the bench. I think overall, I'm happy with the result that we got. Over the 2 legs, we beat you at Anfield, and then we got this. This was a draw. I think both the games were very tight. And even Arteta said there was a moment of magic in the first game when we played at Anfield, which was Szoboszlai, which allowed us to win the game. But there wasn't any magic in this game, which allowed either team to win the game. And I think that's a fair thing to say, because there wasn't anyone on the pitch that really took the game by the scruff of the neck and caused that took that winning opportunity. I mean, we haven't even touched on Gyökeres and his lack of contributions to Arsenal's forward line. I've actually written it down here
10% for Verts,
for you.
10% for Gakpo. But anyway,
I
go
mean,
on.
we've spoken about Gakpo before. He's just there was even an opportunity that he had in the first half. He just cut in and shot, and then I don't know who it was, but it got blocked. But here we are. So he had the least touches in a game that he's played more than 20 minutes in. So like of all the games he's played, this was the game where he's had the least amount of touches. Gabriel Jesus, who came on in his 20-minute cameo, had more touches than Gyökeres' entire 64-minute display. So, I mean, okay, it's his first season and he's still getting used to the Premier League, but he's been completely ineffective, especially in the game against us. I think we marshaled him completely well. I don't think Konate or Van Dijk had any problems with him. I think defensively we were sound, like I said, and we, other than even that Gabriel chance that you had at the back post at the end of the game, I don't think that was a clear-cut opportunity. He still would have had to. He would have had to score at the. I think that was at the back post because it was an in-swinging corner from the left. But yeah, I wouldn't say that was a gilt-edged chance that you missed.
It was the right, because Madueke took it.
It was. Oh yeah, sorry, because you're attacking. Yeah, it was from the right. Yeah. But yeah, I mean, I'm happy with the draw. We extended our 10 winning run. I think now we're on 10 unbeaten. So considering where our season has been, I'm happy that things have improved for us where we started. So I'm happy to take that. Especially the fact that we're playing Arsenal, I'm more than happy for us to have not conceded a goal, have been defensively sound, to show everyone fighting for the team together. And it was good to see once again, Szoboszlai being our best player on the pitch. But yeah, I mean, do you want to talk about what happened at the end of the game with Bradley and Martinelli?
I mean, before we get to what happened at the end of the game, I think it's very important to remind people to like and subscribe if you really enjoy this content. And if you would like to see more of it moving forward, let's talk about what happened at the end of the game. I'm sure Mr. Resident Guna Danyal will have a different perspective. But in fact, let's go straight to you, Zaid, since you seem to be building up some momentum. Hit me with your views there.
I mean, so on the one hand, I can understand Martinelli's perspective that Arsenal want to go and win the game. So I can understand if he feels like there's time wasting that's happening. But I don't think that there was any time wasting that was happening during the match anyway. I don't think Liverpool tried to stifle Arsenal and play like Aston Villa played to try and slow down the play. I think it was a cagey game, and I can understand if he's in the heat of the moment trying to do something to try and push the game. But I mean, like, it's just ridiculous. Like, this is Martinelli. This is what he's like. He's I don't know how to describe him, but he's a typical South American player, I would say, very emotional in that way. I wouldn't necessarily say that he is a calm player and very respectful. I think this is just a snapshot of what this Arsenal team is like, lacking class, spending more time on social media, caring about what other people say. I don't think they are professional to be champions. I think they don't manage the way that they take it from week to week. I think most teams in the league do not think Arsenal players deserve to be champions because of the way that they are. But anyway, I'm ranting now. I think that on the one hand, I understand what Martinelli was doing to try and continue on with the game, but on the other hand, I mean, you don't need to try and push a player off the pitch if he's done his knee. Like, all Arsenal fans will say that Bradley tried to roll back onto the pitch. He's writhing in pain. What's he meant to do? I mean, if a player like Curtis Jones was on the pitch, I think Martinelli would have got clotted, and Curtis Jones would probably got sent off. But yeah, that's an aside. I think it was just heat at the moment, and I don't think it's anything more than that.
I mean, the last time I've seen a Bradley get beaten like that was in EastEnders by Stacey. Go on, Daniel, you can respond. Had to get my little quip in there. Oh, Stace.
So obviously, I was at the East Stand upper, so opposite where the incident happened, but the other side. In my opinion, like what Zahid said at the beginning was incorrect. Like, there was time wasting going on from Liverpool. There was a moment, a very good moment where Wirtz was down inside the box, and Gabriel was lifting him up. Like Wirtz wasn't injured, completely wasn't injured. Arsenal were on top in the first half, and McAllister went down. And he used good gamesmanship. Yeah, in previous seasons, Arsenal were considered to be using dark arts for delaying the game, and it's good tactics. Like you're away from home at the Premier League leaders. It's good tactics. It's a good way to manage the game, and you can understand from Martinelli's perspective. It's the 94th minute of the match, right? He has no idea that Bradley's like done himself in that badly. He absolutely has no idea that that's the case. He wants to go in and win the game. Yeah, the one thing that Arsenal have been accused of doing in previous years is being too soft, not having that winner's mentality. And here he is trying to show a bit of passion and trying to win the game for Arsenal Football Club. And obviously, he doesn't know what's happened to Bradley. He has no idea what's happened to Bradley. And for me, right, this was a low event match. And the one thing that actually happened, Neville in particular had to kind of make it a bit of a talking point and said, "Oh, if I was on that pitch, I would have thumped him one." And it's like, come on, like show a bit of class, man. And someone like Roy Keane going on there and saying, "Oh, that he was disrespectful or whatever." Like this is the same man who literally ended Alf-Inch Haaland's career by breaking his leg. Like it's not in the same ballpark whatsoever. It's getting completely blown out of proportion for what it was. And you know, you can't judge a man's character just based on that.
But you can't have a go at Neville for saying, "Oh, Neville's getting too emotional," and saying he'd punch him in the face. Because that's hypocritical. That's because you're saying Martinelli's emotional and he's trying to win the game. Fair enough. Okay. Fair enough. Martinelli's trying his best, but then you can't say Neville's been too emotional and saying he'll go in the pitch.
No, well, the fact of the matter is the fact of the matter is Neville is working for a television broadcaster. He's not in the match at that moment in time.
He's saying that if he was a player, if he was a teammate,
he had a responsibility to speak sensibly and to speak about it from both perspectives. And the best person to have actually addressed this was Arne Slot. Arne Slot, if anyone was to be the most furious with Gabriel Martinelli, it should have been Arne Slot for his actions.
Second most, yeah.
And Slot essentially said that, look, we see what happens in the Premier League week in, week out. Players waste time, players feign injury. I can understand from his perspective, he's not that type of player. So again, sorry, Zahid, your manager disagrees with you. He says he's not that type of player.
He is that type of player because that's what he literally did. He literally tried to push him off the pitch. He literally did that. So he is that type of player.
He wouldn't have done this if he knew. Let me finish the point. Let me finish the quote. He wouldn't have done this if he knew how seriously injured he was. And you know what was really, really frustrating as well, right? After Martinelli actually did something in yesterday's match, like something really, really productive, the commentators had to kind of refer back to it again in the commentary. It's like it's got nothing to do with Arsenal playing Portsmouth, but it happened to be this big narrative. Oh, after what happened with Conor Bradley on Thursday night, it's like, come on, man, let's move on from it now. He's already scored 3 goals. It was getting very, very tiresome listening to it. So yeah, that's my opinion on the matter. And Arteta again showing some quite good class again, giving Slot his props for kind of mentioning how it could. And you know what, I'm going to give Slot his props now, to be fair, because at the end of the day, right, even after you guys beat us 1-0, Slot kind of called it right as well in that match. That game 9 times out of 10 ends a draw, and yeah. That moment of magic didn't happen in Thursday's game. So that is my 2 cents on that. opinion.
I'll say this. You're saying Martinelli didn't know. You're saying Martinelli didn't know he's injured. Okay, and he's thinking, all right, there's a chance that
He apologized to him.
There's a
He
chance that
apologized
Bradley
to him.
might be faking it, but why would you still take that chance? Like he's lying down. He's not like lying down, like looking around at everyone. He's lying down, clutching his knee, clearly in pain. Again, there's a chance he might be faking it, but if I was Martinelli, I'm not going to push him. I'm not going to say, all right, this guy might be hurt. Let me not push him. I'll protest to the referee and say, look, there's probably some time wasting going on. I'll be a bit passionate. I'm not going to physically push the guy. So that's the whole thing that you can say, oh, Martinelli didn't know, and he apologized. Like, all right, fair play to Martinelli. He apologized.
He accepted he was in the wrong, right?
We all make mistakes. But the whole he didn't know, so let me push him anyway. But I didn't know. There's a chance he might.
He pushed him after he rolled onto the pitch.
Yeah, no, but he's still clutching his knee. He's clutching his knee in pain. Like
he didn't.
I don't know. I wouldn't push a guy that's doing that. I wouldn't push a guy.
He wasn't off the pitch. He was on and off. He was like half on and off the pitch.
He's rolling around in pain. He's not like thinking, oh, let me just do this. Let me do this or let me do that. I don't know.
Daniel, do you think this is a sign of Arsenal cracking under pressure, or is it just the heat of the moment then?
What, the fact that Martinelli wanted to win a football match and wanted to stop perceived time wasting? Yeah, no, it's got nothing to do with cracking under the pressure.
Sorry,
Can
I
just
if Arsenal cracking under the pressure, they lost yesterday at Portsmouth. So yeah, no, that's not something.
That would have been pretty difficult, but
Zahid, Tamim, Zahid with your little earring.
It was rotated sides.
So yeah, I don't. Okay, so I can understand as an Arsenal fan, you want to move past what happened, but it's literally the next game after the last game. Liverpool played Arsenal on Thursday, and your game was what, on Sunday? Yeah. So it's only been a few days. So obviously, journalists are still going to talk about Martinelli and what he did on Thursday compared to what he did on Sunday. It's just common sense. So I don't know why you're getting riled up about that. Like he should be some sort of saint. Like he shouldn't be. Like what happened on Thursday is completely discounted for when they talk about what happened on Sunday. I think that's just silly. Honestly.
Just had a comment come in from B97C. Liverpool boys are salty. Are you guys
I think
salty?
Arsenal fans are so biased. I think you think that everyone is against you, so you'll take every single opportunity to highlight that, and it's just so silly.
Yeah, we had a quite an eventful chat last time, didn't we? I don't know who, but this really good-looking host, 5'11", he just had like this mad rant. Cooks and Clunes, by the way, if you have any fit sisters or aunties are interested. Went off on a tangent talking about how Arsenal is like this really messy club. So, yeah, I don't know. Tamim, what do you think? Are Liverpool boys salty, or do they just need a bit of sugar in their diet?
No, I think it's just a point's a point. We're happy with it. Didn't get destroyed. It's fine. The topic of conversation is Bradley. So, like, I think if it was the other way around, I think you'd be pissed off, Daniel. I think you would be annoyed by seeing that. You'd be like, oh, look at the Liverpool player doing that to one of our players. Oh, look, Gabriel's now injured for the rest of the season. I'm not saying you'd blame Liverpool players, but you would be pissed off. And you've done it in the past. Like we've all done it. We're all a bit biased when say the rival team player does something. You'd post something from Twitter and you'd put it to us, Daniel. So I'm right in saying that. 100%. There's a bit of the bias there. So if it was the other way around, you would have had a good.
I would be annoyed.
Now's your chance.
I would be annoyed.
Now's your chance. Here's your chance now to rip everyone, including myself, a new one. Mo thinks it's 3 versus 1. Daniel won that one. IMO. What's IMO? Speak English, man.
In my opinion.
Oh, in my opinion, yeah. You got
sounds like an Arsenal
education from this country, right? Properly. Don't know who you are, Mo, but please keep sending your comments. Daniel, what? Now's your chance. Re-establish your claim. Put that flag in the ground. All right. Give me Zahid Tamim one. Not like literally that'll be haram, but like hit us now. Hit us with your rebuttals. Tell us why Arsenal fans are not salty or not deluded. Why Liverpool fans are salty. Go.
It's going to have to do about being salty or not salty. Liverpool boys are salty because they're 14 points behind us. But just to address Tamim's point about if that was an Arsenal player on the floor writhing in pain, yeah, I'd be annoyed, but I would see it from the other player's perspective that, again, it's the 94th minute of the match and they're trying to win a football game. And he didn't know. It's not like he done him one. If Martinelli, scissor tackled Bradley and ruled him out for the rest of the season, I'd say absolutely you have every right to be annoyed with him. But he's trying to win a football match at the end of the day. Yeah, fine. He shouldn't have pushed him. He shouldn't have dropped the ball on him. But look, again, he's trying to win a football match. He apologized to Bradley. Bradley accepted his apology. Let's move on.
Mo earlier also mentioned, by the way, Neville wouldn't have done Nish. I agree, Mo. I don't think anybody's intimidated by Gary Neville. Even his shadow laughs at him. So, yeah, let's not worry about that guy at all. Zaid, Mo also mentioned that you sounding like we're not going to keep this political, but he says you sound like a politician from a party that rhymes with Shmaform. Narob, yeah, oh, there it is. It doesn't help they wear blue today, Zahid, yeah? Even though I'm wearing blue as well. But Zahid can
all three of you are wearing blue, man. So it is 3 against 1.
Yeah, it's Conservative Party now, bro. Who is? I mean, just to wrap this up,
there was a good question actually.
Which one?
Dog, do you want to read it out?
The Gyökeres one. Okay, yeah. I mean, we can nicely segue into that. So yeah, this question again from Mo, who's been our most useful contributor. Thank you, Mo. Keep on coming. That's what she said. Would Gyökeres be a successful signing if Arsenal win the league, considering they haven't in past season, and the general consensus was Arsenal needed a new striker? I've always said before that what Arsenal's always lacked has just been like a nice backup plan, contingency. They've always complained about not having enough people on the bench. I genuinely think that they've got enough firepower this time round to kind of, seal the league. I've even said that Arsenal are going to win the league, as much as you guys call me hater. Daniel, what do you think about Mo's question? Do you think Gyökeres would be a successful signing if Arsenal win the league?
I think so. If you look at the games that we had drawn last season, the likes of Aston Villa at home, Brighton home and away, West Ham, we lost at home. The general consensus then, and the season before that, was that Arsenal needed a number 9. And our style of play has been a lot more direct since Gyökeres has been in the side. One thing that Gabriel Jesus has done in his last couple of cameos is kind of dropped into that kind of false 9 role, not a kind of pure centre forward position. And it gives teams something else to think about. Gyökeres, we saw it with the Bournemouth goal for Declan Rice last week. He occupies 2 defenders all the time. I think like Zahid and Tamim said, like Konate and Van Dijk definitely marshalled him in that match. It did seem like the level was a bit too much for him, and particularly he's not in the best of form at this moment in time as well. But I just think it's almost like horses for courses in some ways. Like certain games will suit Gyökeres more, and this wasn't a Gyökeres match. This was definitely a game for Kai Havertz, Mikel Merino. I was kind of looking and hoping Merino would come on and be our centre forward, because it just felt like we needed the balls over the top, especially because we know that direct play is something that Liverpool struggled with this season. I was really wishing we had Havertz on that pitch, or like I said, Mikel Merino. And again, there was a lot of rotation that was done come the Portsmouth game. Both of them were playing, so we'll see. We'll see what happens. But I think Gyökeres will start a lot of matches, more so than what people think now that Havertz is back. Liverpool boys, what's your...
Would you have started Jesus instead of Gyökeres? Because he seemed to be more influential when he did come on.
I would have
feel
started,
like he has more of a presence.
I would have started Merino. I wasn't convinced by Jesus's last, especially his cameo versus Bournemouth, and just in terms of just thinking about like the opposition, a bit more direct play, what I think would have troubled your defense a bit more than what Jesus was kind of offering. And again, I wasn't impressed with Jesus's his cameo versus Liverpool either, particularly his decision to jump into Gabriel's back for that corner kick. So yeah.
I think you're right though about what we said about direct play. Liverpool have definitely, the ball over the top has definitely troubled us, like throughout the season. But I was very happy that we managed the set pieces quite well against you. That was impressive, considering how good at set pieces you have been, and considering 3 of your 4 goals against Portsmouth were set pieces. Yeah, I mean, I was impressed. I was impressed with us defensively. We didn't have
Arsenal,
much or anything going forward, but yeah.
Seems Arsenal are better at corners than they are penalties based on.
Oh my goodness, yeah, Madueke's
on
miss. Wow.
Tamim, what are your thoughts, man? You've been awfully quiet. Everything right?
On this particular question, yeah.
No. The other question, the question that was asked 20 minutes ago. Yes. Bob, this is question time. We don't.
Let me go back 20 minutes.
You were just sitting there staring at me like a cat started talking. Like,
I would say it obviously depends on his contribution. I would say right now the answer would be no. I would say if they win the league, it'd be despite having him there. Like, he's not done much, and he does look like, as Genial said, like not quite up to the level right now. I'd say if they win the league, they'd be remembered for it because of their really strong defense and their, strong tactics on set pieces. Those 2 things would stand out the most. It wouldn't be because they added Gyökeres or any kind of number 9 to the mix. I think, like, unless again he steps up and starts scoring loads and he shows why they brought him in and how he creates space for Saka and Trossard to do more and more, which he has in a couple of games there and there, but not enough. As it stands right now, no, I wouldn't say he looks like a successful signing. I just think Arsenal are really strong right now, and that's why they might just win the league.
I think we've spoken quite a lot about this game. Just before we wrap it up and move on to the next section, Daniel, are you still confident Arsenal's going to win the league after the Liverpool game?
Yeah, 6 points clear. City don't look like the force that they were previously. I think the fact that they drew against Brighton, a match that you would expect them to win, in all honesty. They drew against a manager Chelsea. Again, you expect them to really turn Chelsea over at home. 2 games at home that they drop points in. I'm not convinced by City at all. I think also, Liverpool last season didn't beat the nearest challengers in Arsenal, home or away. So that should give Arsenal a bit of heart as well. Thinking back to last season, I think it was Amazon Prime who posted a visual of United not win. I think only winning 1 match versus the Big Six when they won the league in 2008, 2009,
and the Champions League, by the way. Just Champions League. They won the Champions League that year as well. Yeah. Ronaldo. Sorry. Carry on.
Yes. Regardless, so I think as well that is a good indication as well that it's just about kind of keeping results ticking over, making sure that gap is kind of healthy. And if you think about our fixtures going forward, away from home we have City in game week 33, we have Tottenham in the North London derby. But other than that, our away games on paper are all winnable. Again, you can never take anything for granted in Premier League, as we've seen with some real shock results. Even this weekend in football generally, Macclesfield Town in the 6th division of football beating the FA Cup holders on Saturday, really showing the beauty of football. So you can't take anything for granted in football. But yeah, I am confident we are the best team in the league, and I'm confident we'll get over the line this year.
Tambo Slice, is this Arsenal's league still, or is there a twist in the tail?
Yeah, it's Arsenal's league. I've been saying it for quite a few weeks now. I've said Man City do not look anywhere near the strongest, and defensively especially, like they've not solved that right back issue. Trying to replace Kyle Walker, they haven't done that at all for a long time. They didn't do that last year. They didn't do that this year. I don't think City will catch Arsenal. They don't look that strong. It's Arsenal's. That's what I think.
And Zaid, Arsenal's league to lose, or twisting the tail as well?
I think the signing of Semenyo may help City somewhat. But like Tamim said, defensively, they're still playing Matthias Nunes right back, which is still a strange decision considering they didn't work last season and it's still not working this season. They haven't signed a right back. But yeah, I mean, it's Arsenal's title to lose. Arsenal look the best team in terms of the best organisation, the best equipped in terms of 2 players per position. They have the best cohesion in terms of the team formation and the tactics. Everybody knows their roles, what they need to do. They're very defensively sound, and it's all about the team working together. So I think as a team overall, Arsenal are probably best equipped. But let's see what happens if City go on a run. I don't know, but it's unlikely that Arsenal will falter. Yeah. Oh, I just also wanted to mention actually, a few weeks ago we spoke about what it must be like. Well, I was asking what it must be like to be a Wolves fan, like going and supporting your team, knowing that you're like losing every single game, and then you see what Macclesfield have done, and you see what sort of community football breeds, and like how much a club can make a difference in the local community, and what it can do for everyone in that area. And I think it's the magic of the FA Cup. Really, it's incredible.
Great point. And speaking of community, to those of you in the YouTube community who are watching this video today of this live podcast, please hit that like button and subscribe if you enjoy our content. Just piggybacking off your comment there, Zaid, about Semenyo or turkey baconing that comment to keep it halal. B97C is asked, could Semenyo push City to the title? What are your thoughts on that?
I think it's unlikely that. I think he'll help, although I don't understand because they had a very direct player in Doku, who's now sort of fallen out of favour. And I mean, I had high hopes for Marmoush at the start of the season. He fell out of favour. He's gone off to AFCON. And it seems like Egypt are going to go all the way to the final potentially, with Salah carrying them all the way. But yeah, I don't see how Semenyo, just the signing of Semenyo, can help City get the title. I mean, they're still 6 points behind. Maybe he will help inject some sharpness to their attack, but I think it's defensively is their issue.
I think what Pep himself doesn't really rate Doku's end product. I think when he scored against you guys, funny enough, it was like, well, he's not going to do this every week. It was kind of like the summary of what Doku did. And then he didn't really score again after that, funny enough. I think he might have got an assist or 2 against Fulham. But yeah, I think they're looking at Semenyo. And again, it's just City kind of being City, stockpiling all of the best talent. Like they still have £100 million Jack Grealish on loan at Everton. He has to come back to Manchester City as well. I do agree with Zaid. Like defensively is where they look most vulnerable. They have to have a run of games with Hussanov at centre back. I think they could struggle. Vardiol looks to be out for a considerable amount of time. Ruben Diaz as well got injured versus Chelsea.
Got an injured, but ever since he's been with Maya Jama, but he's always getting injured.
Anyway, Tamim, what's on Semenyo?
I can subscribe.
I don't think it changes too much. Yeah, he's a great player, but that's not City's weak points. As you both said, it's defensively that's where the weakness is. Like the fullback positions, and now Vardiol out for probably the whole season, Diaz out for a long time. They're looking very short back. And even when they had those players, they looked still vulnerable defensively. So unless they buy 2-3 top quality defenders this window, I don't see them challenging you guys. I think, they'll be, sitting there second, potentially, challenged by Villa for third. I don't see them rising the table much. Rodri's not looking the same either, him in that defensive midfield position. I'm not sure if he's currently injured again or what, but that he's not looked the same even when he has been playing. Nico Gonzalez has had on and off moments, but nowhere near like a prime Rodri level. Attack is good. Cherky's been amazing. Semenyo's, he probably will be amazing for them. Haaland's a monster, obviously. But yeah, just that central midfield position and the defense, they're still figuring things out, and they probably don't have the right players to be able to sustain a title challenge, in my opinion. So I don't think Semenyo alone will push City to the title. He's not that Suarez kind of player that can drag an average team like Rodgers Liverpool to a title challenge. So that's what it's going to be like. Scoring loads of goals and conceding loads of goals. That's not enough for a title.
If you look at the stats from the City Brighton game, I mean, City had 2.55 XG compared to Brighton's 1.16. They had 21 total shots compared to Brighton's 6. It's quite interesting. They definitely dominated the game, but they just weren't clinical.
I would say also look at previous matches like the Palace game, where Palace really could have been outside in the first half, but they couldn't hit their chances. So that actually always catches up when you one way or the other, right, Zahid?
Tammy, you mentioned earlier that Haaland is a beast. I think it's time for us to talk about City's ugly sister, which is Manchester United. They've gone through a few changes recently. Ruben Amorim's obviously been sacked. He's going to go back to his day job of speeding on Bury Park Road in his rented BMW. They've brought in Michael Carrick, one of the old guards, to somehow foster some sort of recovery. I did tell you, as a true United fan, supporting them from London, that city just next to Manchester, that this is a directionless club, Stevie Wonder FC. Manchester United are as about successful or as confidence admiring as a condom with holes. They have no clue what they're doing right now. Oh, is that too inappropriate, Daniel? That's fine. We're past the watershed. I have no clue where Man United's going. I don't think Amorim knows where he's going next. All I know is that his reputation is probably taking a bit of a battering. Let us start off with, who wants to go first? Zahid, you start off. What do you think about United being
Would you think Amorim, looking at it from the outside, seeing how United played, who did they play actually? Who was their FA Cup game against?
Brighton.
Yeah.
Sorry, yeah. So playing against Brighton, I think Mainu played as well, and they played a back four, and they still lost.
Yeah.
Like, he must be looking at it thinking, I knew this guy wasn't good enough to get into the team, and I knew that playing a back four was incorrect for the team. I think it's just absolute shambles what's happening at United, and I'm so glad that that's not happening at Liverpool, because like we've been through our banter years. I mean, it seems like United are just perpetually stuck in this motion with the Glazers. I think it's the horrible situation to be in as a fan. Like everything that Ineos have done to push fans further and further out, what they've done to the staff in terms of making them bring packed lunches and how they're trying to save money, and then how they tried to sell this story of a new stadium and try and get everyone back on board, with Ratcliffe coming out and giving a whole spiel about the direction the club they want to take the club into. And then they bring in Amorim and then they get rid of him. I think it's so sad to see, but it's also so funny to watch at the same time. And I could only imagine that. I guess Carrick is the
interim, isn't it? I think.
Yeah, has he been announced now?
Yeah, I think so. Yeah.
So
because I know Rooney has said that he wants to join.
Rooney. Sorry.
Fabrizio Romano is
making Shrek 5. Why is he going to come manage United?
The club hasn't announced it yet.
I think they're probably going to announce it tomorrow or something along those lines.
But I just think we should be sponsored by Keeping Up with the Kardashians. The amount of times we're changing mans is actually disgraceful. That was a good one.
It's actually quite funny because, like, United are going through this process of appointing an interim, whilst you have an interim who's also your next United boy in place. It's like you're not going for anything this season other than a potential European place. Like just appoint Fletcher and focus your energies. If I was the owners, focus energies on finding a permanent manager. It just seems like a pointless process of interviewing Solskjaer and interviewing Carrick. Like just go straight and bite the bullet and look for who you want to be your permanent manager. Like,
Xabi Alonso, maybe.
Well, Real Madrid
Timing's
just
there.
sacked him after the Super Cup final yesterday. So he is available. Obviously, there were links when Slot was doing particularly badly with Xabi Alonso to Liverpool. I mean, well, going back to Liverpool here, but yeah, I mean, Xabi Alonso to United, I'm sure United fans won't say no. Hey, Ozzy.
You know what? At this stage, I'll be happy for that collaboration between Fernandes and Bonnie Blue, bruv. I mean, this is just a wild club, man. As I had said that we're going for a banter phase. I don't know who's providing more banter, the hacker on Fernandes' Twitter account or the bloody club itself, man. Just directionless. They have no clue. I don't know what they're doing right now. They should literally change their name to Young Boys FC because that's literally who's running the club right now, a bunch of young boys. It's terrible. Absolutely terrible. And I hate that we have literally fallen into that phase here. Next year will be, oh yeah, United's back. We are being turned over on our back by other teams in the Premier League. It's embarrassing, you know. Like I said, I only wear the shirt. It cost me 20 quid from the Adidas outlet, man. Otherwise, I'd bought an Arsenal one.
40 games this season. 40 games this season, which is the lowest amount of fixtures United would have had since 1912. Like breaking records here for this current United setup. And you know, it's one game a week, like 1 game a week. Like it's in theory, United should comfortably be in the top 4 because you've had enough time to be preparing for games. Like as much as I was quite praiseworthy of Amorim for kind of making you have a bit of an identity, the attacking football was kind of coming back. Like he should be beating the likes of Burnley, of Wolves, of Leeds. Was Leeds his last match?
Yeah, it was.
Yeah, like
1-1.
You know, United have enough talent assembled there, even without like those new signings. Like, even if it was like the likes of Xerxes playing up top, like in theory, it should be enough to beat the caliber of teams that I just mentioned. And so don't disrespect to those teams, but you know, United spent a lot of money assembling that squad, and it's just not clicking.
I told you, Kim Kardashian FC, nice to look at, but there's nobody home. There's no brain. Tell me, what do you think? Are United going down the drain, or are you enjoying this banter period?
Enjoying it a lot, definitely. But I think, you know,
Long way to continue.
Yeah, exactly. You know, I heard it a lot when I was a kid. 20 years without a title for Liverpool, all of this and that. So it's time to give it back, you know, time to give it back to all my friends and family. So yeah, long may that continue. But you know what you're saying, Daniel, about, yeah, regardless of maybe the results, them, you know, looking better, but still not being able to beat teams that they should be. I think Amorim was still building something positive. I think maybe with a bit of time, it was going in the right direction because, yeah, they should be beating teams like Leeds and Burnley or Sunderland, whoever else. But the Premier League is hard, you know, and even regardless of how much you spend or what kind of caliber of players you have, even on your day, a top team like, you know, City, Liverpool, Arsenal, we could easily drop points to those kind of teams. And we have also, you know, we've not been a top team this year, but we dropped points to Leeds twice. Arsenal have dropped points to lower league teams as well. So it takes a long time to build something like. Yeah, exactly. You know, you have twice now. So, yeah, it takes a long time to build a strong team that dominates, you know, that dominates over 38 games. It takes a long time to get to that level. I think, yeah, sacking Amorim was a bit puzzling, and not giving him control over formation and teams and having a row over that was a bit puzzling as well. So yeah, that was quite a weird move. You know, did they have someone in mind? You know, someone long term, possibly. I don't know. I mean, what's Carrick's credentials? Has Carrick done anything like in the managerial world?
So he got sacked by Middlesbrough at the beginning of end of last season, so they let him go. Funnily enough, the 3 games that he was in charge of Man United, again, there was a bit of a new manager boost under Carrick, where when he was previously in charge as interim. So who knows how it will look for them. But it's just kind of surprising that, it's not kind of results that pushed the owners to sack Amorim, and it was simply a fallout at boardroom level that has caused this. Similarly for Maresca at Chelsea, which, by the way, I think in the coaches world, Liam Rosenior is really, really highly regarded. So it'll be quite interesting to see what he does at Chelsea, and kind of, again, whether he can manage within those conditions of being head coach and with having people above him.
This is a bit of an open-ended question, but can any of you guys see United winning a major trophy within the next 5 years? A Premier League, Champions League, Europa. I won't say FA Cup because Daniel calls that a nice day out. No, Tamin? Zaid?
United.
Yeah.
I think I could see them going on a cup run, maybe. But I feel like even though you've got 40 games in this season, I feel like it's a perfect building block for you to focus on, one, finding a manager for next season, and two, just focusing on one game a week, finding a game plan, getting the team morale together, and trying to find a way to win and at least end the season on a high. Like, I don't think you're, as embarrassing as it is, you're in the best place potentially. Financially, it's going to be devastating for the club, clearly. But at least looking into next season, I think you can take it as a positive. But also, you mentioned Liam Rosenior being highly regarded. He has not won more than 3 consecutive games in a row as manager. And where was he at? Strasbourg. So let's see what happens and what he does at Chelsea. He seems like a company man, and he will fit into that head coach role. Whereas, like what happened with Amorim and him saying that he was a manager when in fact he was a head coach, and maybe not understanding the difference between the two. I don't know. But yeah, I think he talked his way out of that job, and that's what he wanted at the end of the day. And he got his payout. So he got what he wanted. But talking about Xabi Alonso, obviously he managed the Bayern Leverkusen squad that had Frimpong and Wirtz. And I was looking at his tactical play and how he plays. But yeah, I was listening to Guillaume Balaguer as well, talking on BBC Radio 5 Live about Real Madrid and what it's like, and basically it seems so foreign to what we understand in terms of managers managing teams and managing players. Whereas at Real Madrid, you can't do that. You can't coach tactics to these players, to these Galacticos. You have to massage their egos. And if you don't do that, you lose the dressing room and you basically get fired. And that's basically what happened to Xabi Alonso. He lost the dressing room. He tried to merge tactics with man management, and it just didn't work out for him in the end. And apparently, the board were already planning for his replacement in October, which is crazy. But yeah, I guess that's what happens at these sort of huge clubs.
Daniel, United, any potential trophies in the next 5 years or so?
I think if you look at the Arsenal model or even the Liverpool model, because let's go back to the Liverpool model, but also the Arsenal model.
Mention the Arsenal model as well. Come on, I'm not a bad guy. Let's keep it neutral.
So if we go back to 2020, when 2019, 2020, when Arteta was first appointed, we felt like we were a million miles away from, let alone a title, but a title challenge, way off it. And I think it was unfathomable to kind of consider Arsenal being title challengers after that awful COVID 2020 winter. But Arteta and Edu had the backing of the board to go and get the players that allowed us to challenge. If I think back to that first window where we kind of bought with Premier League experience, but bought young, the likes of Ben White, 22 years old, Tomiyasu, going out and then getting Leandro Trossard, bringing back William Saliba from loan, The building blocks were there, but it was taking time to get to that point. I think if United can get Champions League football this year, because it is entirely possible, and if they get the next 3-4 windows right, like there's no reason why they couldn't be challenging potentially within 3 or 4 seasons. But it will take time. Like I've heard some deluded Man United fans saying we're going to win the league next year. I'm like, no, man, come on, relax, calm down. It will take time, with regards to like winning major trophies, like 2024, they won the FA Cup. The year before that, they won the Carabao Cup. It is in United's DNA to win trophies, again, but before that, they did go on a 5-year drought, quite similar to Arsenal's at the moment. It's just what happens with clubs. Clubs go through cycles. At the moment, we're in our kind of golden cycle, and we have to capitalize it by winning something major. Not to mention, by the way, some other major news that broke on Friday. Bukayo Saka signing a new deal. Our star boy becoming star man, getting that star player money as well. Again, all of these players are kind of buying into that project for Arsenal, and I think what will happen at United is a case of having to rebuild and kind of slowly kind of getting those building blocks.
It's a very
Do you see Saka seeing out that 6-year contract?
Out of everyone, yes. The one player I do see leaving is William Saliba, and possibly Gabriel Magalhaes. But I think this core group of players want to win something first. I think Saliba referenced Trent. He referenced Trent, saying, Trent basically won everything with Liverpool. That's why he wanted a new challenge. And I think we might see Saliba leaving. And it doesn't surprise me. Arsenal are being linked for Mark Guehi, which would be so funny if they managed to steal him under the noses of Liverpool and Manchester City as well. But part of that is succession planning. Like, the club would be silly not to think that Saliba might want to move on within this, like maybe this summer, maybe next summer. That they have to think long term.
I mean, that's the whole reason why we was linked with Guehi, because eventually Van Dijk is gonna have to take a back seat, and he's a left-sided centre back, so he would have been a perfect replacement. But yeah, let's and then we had Leone as well, but he's now had an ACL injury, and he was going to be our next big breakout star. But yeah, it's interesting to see. It's weird because amongst Arsenal fans, Saka is untouchable, and almost as if he can do no wrong.
He isn't big on. Yeah.
I'd say maybe amongst the majority of Arsenal fans, there's always a loud minority, right? But I mean, do you see him taking the game by the scruff of the neck? Do you see him developing into that player that can go on and win games, score big goals, score goals even when he's not playing well? It's a criticism of him from rival fans that he, as much as he's hyped up to be this star boy, he doesn't have the end product at the end of the day to back it up and the stats in terms of goals. But he is a creative player for Arsenal, and he does drive a lot of your offensive play. But do you see him developing that finishing touch in the future?
I think we saw it before his hamstring injury, before his surgery. He was on course to kind of be breaking all sorts of records before that hamstring injury happened, and his form has definitely dipped. And he's at the point in his career now where we should be expecting more from him. He just needs to regain that composure in front of goal that he's kind of been missing over the last month or so. But it's there. Like, we have seen it. And that ability to beat a man, to make the right decisions inside the box. he still gets his props for his set piece delivery as well, which you can see Madueke has been working on that as well, following the Portsmouth match too.
Maybe not his penalties.
Maybe not his penalties, yeah. But yeah, like whether he could be a Salah type figure, in my opinion, like he doesn't necessarily need to be a Salah type figure. He needs to be the Bukayo Saka we saw in that 22-23 season, in the 89-point season, where he, got plus 10 goals, plus 10 assists, 20 goal contributions as a whole. It's good enough for this Arsenal side. But yeah, it just shows the faith in the Arsenal project. One thing I will say, which was also pretty good, big news in the Arsenal world, was Per Mertesacker stepping down from his role as academy manager at the end of the season. So this was a guy who, and thinking about Manchester United, and we kind of detoured completely to Arsenal here, but thinking about Man United and kind of where Man United's problem started was kind of where Fergie appointed David Moyes. One thing which Wenger didn't want to do was appoint his successor. I think one thing which the good thing that Wenger did do is he steerrolled Per Mertesacker to be the academy manager. And I think that helped him knowing, and helped the club essentially in the long term, knowing Mertesacker's qualities, knowing his leadership, knowing his vision. And we've seen over the years, even in the FA Cup on Friday, it was Arthur Okonkwo, the keeper for Wrexham, saving a penalty from Mario Hutchinson, two players who both came through the Arsenal academy under Per Mertesacker. So that's not even mentioning the likes of Bukayo Saka, Emile Smith-Rowe, Joe Willock now at Newcastle, Balogun, who's at Monaco now, Eddie Nketiah at Crystal Palace. So this is a massive blow, I think, to Arsenal's academy and like what we were bringing through in terms of the youth. And it, like, change can be good sometimes. But yeah, I do think this was quite a sad day for the club, considering all that Mertesacker has achieved with Arsenal, and for football generally, like I mentioned.
Going back,
has
to
he
United,
been replaced already? Sorry.
It hasn't. So Richard Garlick, CEO, just put a statement on the club website saying that he's thankful that Mertesacker's staying in situ until the end of the season, but they're going to be planning for the succession after. So we'll see what happens with him after that.
Thank you for that, Zahid. Thank you for your contribution. Is that a vampire version of Richard Gere, Richard Garlick? Terrible. In one word, then, just one word, yeah? Describe Man United right now. Zahid, you first. Swear. Come on. That's a good way to start.
Come back to me.
Tamim.
All right.
Shambles.
Daniel.
Dysfunctional.
I'd say
Hilarious.
Well, I mean, I'll end up
Agree
with
with that
that
as well.
one thing that Roy Keane said about how United still seem to have their head up Fergie's backside, which instigated that part-time footballer, full-time singer Daniel Sturridge to go. But yeah, United, I don't know, clueless club. Let's see what happens. I might just come with my Pakistan shirt next time. At least that's a bit more less dysfunctional than United. I guess we'll try and wrap up
Debatable.
with some. Sorry?
Debatable.
What's debatable? What's debatable? I think we should try and wrap up with the predictions for the fixtures coming up. Sorry, I love how you sitting there like you're about to hack the NHS, bro. What's wrong with you? Who we got coming up? What are the games lined up? I should probably be leading, shouldn't I? Right, so today we've got the League Cup final between City and Newcastle. Predictions for that?
Semi-final.
Yeah, semi-final. Yes, that's what I said. Then what's your prediction?
I think the first is it at home for the first?
Newcastle, I believe. St
Newcastle at home
James's
first.
Park, as Marcel Desailly would say. St James Park, yes.
I think I think it'll be 1-1 initially, and then next week I think City will win at the Etihad.
Tambo Slice, your prediction?
Oh, no, next week in February. Sorry.
Yeah, I'm going 1-1 as well.
Gordon, your prediction?
I could see City winning at Newcastle. Obviously, it's a cup game, so it'd be a big game for Newcastle. And didn't they win? They beat us in the final last year, didn't they?
They
Yeah.
did.
So they could go on another run. To be honest, actually, don't scratch that. I could see them winning at home and then losing away.
And then
Yeah.
Wednesday we have a pretty difficult watch for Dunyal. It will be Chelsea versus Arsenal. Wait, no, Chelsea versus Arsenal. Why am I saying difficult watch for Dunyal? It might be, yeah, actually. The biggest club in London playing the second biggest club in London. I'll let you guys at home decide who's bigger between them. Dunyal, your predictions for that Chelsea-Arsenal game?
Funny enough, Grok was asked this question after correctly predicting that Barcelona will beat Real Madrid 3-2 on the weekend. And Grok was asked that question about what does Grok predict for Arsenal-Chelsea this Wednesday, and predicted a 2-1 win. So I'm going to go with Grok's prediction, 2-1 to Arsenal.
Tamim?
Yeah, it's unknown with Chelsea right now with what's going on. They gave Arsenal a very good game earlier in the season. You could argue they were the better team, but yeah, completely different circumstances now. I'll say 1-1. I'm going to go tight game at Stamford Bridge, 1-1.
And Zaid, from this angle, looks like you're wearing earrings. You do you. Your prediction?
I think Arsenal probably come from the game 1-0, most likely.
And then obviously on Saturday we've got a pretty packed day with some Premier League fixtures. Gosh, even my own bloody throat box is giving up on me. On Saturday,
Don't know what fishes you're talking about, mate. Let's move on swiftly.
Yeah, exactly. You know, man. Look at you, man, ruining my flow. On Saturday, just before Zohar time, Freudian slip. Thank you for that, Tammy. I don't think you noticed. I'm not reading that. On Saturday, 12:30, let's see the halal just before Zohar. It's Manchester United versus Man City. I'm going to say City are going to battle United 3-0 there. Zaid seem to be quite keen to cop block my momentum. What do you think the prediction will be for that game?
I think City are going to absolutely batter United. I think it's going to be 3-4-0.
Tavin?
I'm going 3-1 City.
And Daniel?
Well, one thing which Man United always seem to do, no matter how rubbish they are, how dysfunctional they are, they always seem to turn up against Manchester City. In particular, Pep Guardiola's side. So I don't think it will be a complete turnover, especially if Carrick is announced tomorrow. Then he can start working with the players for the week. And particularly as well, you know, Man City have to go to Newcastle on Wednesday, so they won't be preparing for the game as long as Man United will be. I'll likely go for a 2-1 win for Manchester City, but yeah, it's not going to be a turnover by any stretch of the imagination, especially because United are Old Trafford as well.
Gosh, the amount of times you've mentioned turnover, bro. We might need to start streaming this podcast from OnlyFans. Then at 3:00, it's Liverpool versus Burnley. Is that Sean Dyche's team? Then yours are going to get cancelled. Is that Sean Dyche's team, Burnley, or is he completely out of the game?
Is it Scott Parker?
No, Scott Parker's the manager.
Peter Parker's
Sean Dyche manages Nottingham Forest.
Oh, yeah, that's it. So Liverpool, Burnley. Zaid, your prediction for that, please.
I think if we are, I could see us winning 2-1 in that game. Yeah, I feel like we may concede, but I think we should have enough to win the game.
Tamim?
I'll go 2-0 to Liverpool.
Daniel?
I think Liverpool are kind of back, and they'll be up on these small teams. I think it'll be 3-1.
I'm going to say 1-0 to Liverpool. I think it'll be a bit of a scratchy game.
We've got Ekitike back as well, actually. So because he played today, so I could see us scoring a few actually.
Yeah, I'm still going to go 1-0 Zaid. I'm going to ignore you there. That's okay. They'll hit the post. There'll be a lot of near misses.
Just like our season. Just like our season.
Slot will start scratching his head. He realised, wait a minute, everyone can see what I'm scratching. So yeah, it'll be a bit embarrassing. And then obviously at 5:30, we have the European champions versus the imaginary European champions. Nottingham Forest versus Arsenal. I'll let you decide which one's which. Dunyard, your prediction for that match?
Again, it's not going to be an easy game for Arsenal, particularly going against Sean Dyche.
Sorry.
Yeah, he's going to make it really hard for us at the City Ground. I'm going to go for 2-0 or 3-1 to Arsenal.
Tamim, I know you're a big Sean Dyche supporter.
I think they've not been great this year, but it's Sean Dyche, and he's going to be pissed after losing to Wrexham in the FA Cup. So he's going to give it to the boys, and I think they're going to turn up. I think it's going to be. I still think it's an Arsenal win, but I'll say 2-1 to Arsenal. It's going to be a tight game.
You're making it sound like he's going to bring out Robin Hood and Little John as well, but they struggle. The John doesn't get the references. It's like, I don't know what that means. Zahid, your prediction?
I expect it to be a tough game, but I think this is the kind of game that if Gyökeres starts, maybe this is the kind of game that he will make a difference in, where he will be able to draw in the centre backs. It will be an interesting challenge, him against Murillo, because
He scored against Forest at home, by the way.
Okay. But you're playing at Forest now, so
yeah,
slightly different kettle of fish. But yeah, it'll be interesting to see how he fares up against Murillo. But I feel like this is more of the kind of game for him. So
I agree.
Yeah, I expect Arsenal to come out of this probably 2-1, I would say.
I'm going to say 3-0 to Arsenal. Mind you, the last time I did say Arsenal pummeled Liverpool, they drew. So I'm really hoping they pummel Forest and they may draw as well. That's our predictions for the fixtures. Sorry, Zahid, you were saying again.
I was going to say, I was hoping for... Is Amar Hutchison... You sold him, right? He's not on loan at...
Chelsea took him for us on a free, and then Chelsea sold him to Forest for 19 million.
But
so I'm hoping he managed to do something against Arsenal. Let's see what happens.
And with that, I think we are done for today. If you've enjoyed this episode, if you've liked some of the banter, the playful fighting, the little kind of the casual racism from Zahid. I'm just kidding. The casual insinuations of political affiliations by certain commentators to the chats. If you've liked the casual rage baiting, if you like the casual desperation on my part, looking for a spouse before my parents send me back home, even though I probably haven't been back home, then like and subscribe. That's what we're here for. We're not going through a midlife crisis, even though it's 12:30 on a Tuesday. We really appreciate your contribution. So, hit that like button, hit that subscribe button. We'll be back next week. We're like the Terminators, just a lot more hairier and not as efficient. But yeah, thank you for joining us at Clash of the Reds podcast, episode 18. And inshallah, keeping it halal. We'll see you next time.